This is the Orioles Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Baltimore Orioles. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
So close, but yet so far away. That's how most of tonight's game felt as the Baltimore Orioles drop the series to the Washington Nationals and lose 4-3. This one, if you're still feeling, if you have no sense of apathy just yet, this one stings a little bit. What could have been Baltimore's fifth comeback win of the season turned out to be spoiled and lifeless towards the end. The night went about as well as you could have asked from a plate approach standpoint. They, I could argue, have more talent than the Nationals and saw pitches better than the Nationals, except for one inning. We'll get to that later. But don't know if they deserve to win with a 1-for-12 batting average with runners in scoring position and leaving 12 men on base. Thank you for joining me here on the Locked On Orioles Postcast. My name is Luke Slaybaugh. I am the post-game show host. After every single Baltimore Orioles game, I'm a contributor to this channel. This is bonus content. Connor Newcomb still runs the main show 5 days per week. He'll have his reaction tomorrow. This is bonus content. You get 2 episodes per week this regular season during the week. That top of the ninth was a heartbreaker. Kyle Finnegan came in having converted all of his 8 saves for Washington this season, and the right-hander showed some cracks in the armor, gave up singles to Gunnar Henderson and Ryan Mountcastle, and even Adley Rutschman made some hard contact, but Tyler O'Neill, who's been freezing cold of late, struck out, and Heston Kjerstad popped out to end what could have been a comeback ninth. But the reason they got into the situation was after coming back down 3-0 to make it a 3-3 ball game in the bottom of the 8th, Gregory Soto could not rise to the occasion.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
I forgot that Alex Call was on Washington's roster because they trotted out the same lineup that they did yesterday. He singles on a sinker, and then what could have been this was probably the worst call of the game by C.B. Buckner. There were several that were pointed out on the broadcast en masse, and some I agree with, some I don't. But that 1-2 pitch to James Wood, definitely a strike. And for someone who's got that big of a strike zone, who's 6'7", that was rough. So he walks on 8 pitches, and then a really good play by Ramon Urias, a 5-4 force out that gets runners at the corners with 1 out. Did not love Gregory Soto's approach to batters after James Wood. In fact, every time he got to 2 strikes, there was that obligatory ball in the dirt or spiked, what Jim Palmer calls a non-competitive pitch, which I think the Nats saw coming a mile away. So slider to Luis Garcia down to the zone, punches it out into deep center field for a sac fly, and that would be the difference in the game. But what it did ruin was, in my opinion, the best plate approach we've seen from the Orioles that did not involve the long ball this season. They did, I think, stellar in recognizing what right-hander Trevor Williams had going on, working the counts, and also making the bullpen, which the MASN broadcast called the worst in baseball, made them earn it. And they really stuck it to their former teammate, Jorge Lopez. 7th inning in particular, before Jorge got in, you had Mullins single, Adley worked a good walk for 6 pitches, and Ryan Mountcastle, first pitch he saw, he took off the shoe tops. So it was a good opportunity for Tyler O'Neill then to hit a sacrifice fly, made it a 3-2 game. He contributed. And then probably what would have been my turning point of the game had Baltimore not come back and won was Heston Kjerstad, having already worked a 20-plus pitch inning to swing at the first pitch. Now, it looked good. It was middle in, but he ended up inside outing that ball, and it died at the warning track. I know his eyes light up, and he has been hitting for a lot of power, but there is some double-edged sword quality to forcing young players with minimal experience into these high leverage situations. I don't know how this season's going to end up for the Orioles. And the further we go down this road, the less likely playoffs look, just from a trajectory standpoint. I still have faith and I'm still optimistic. But man, this is a learning experience from Heston. Yeah, jump on that first pitch. We saw a lot of that in the ninth, but pop fly, man, or a fly out for that matter. Not entirely sure. Eighth inning as well. Started out auspiciously. Jordan Westberg, his first triple this season, opposite field sinker. Jackson Holliday, who had a great game, struck out, unfortunately. And then Ramon Urias, who'd been doing well with runners in scoring position, seems to be a skill of his, hit a sac fly to center field to tie the game. I think a good takeaway of this game is that the offense isn't broken. It showed great approach versus Trevor Williams, bounced him after 5 innings. It had scouted his repertoire really well, recognized the fastball out of his hands, and it didn't show results, but it definitely built and built. And this whole game was amounting to something that should have been, in my opinion, a win. That third inning as well ended in an Adley Rutschman single to right field, 2-0 slider. He was right on it. We saw some great things out of Jackson Holliday, working another walk again. Urias working another walk. They took what they were given, they worked Williams, and they made Washington Nationals bullpen labor. Thank you again for joining me here on the Baltimore Orioles postcast. My name is Luke Slaybaugh, again with you here after every single Baltimore Orioles game. I can see the comments here on YouTube Live. If you're listening on the Locked On Podcast Network on the replay, give me a shout, leave a comment, leave a review, what you like about the show, what you would change, anything at all, give me a shout for sure. I'll be active in the comment section as I usually am. Coming up, a disturbing trend from Orioles starting pitching. A good outing by Tomoyuki Sugano, but something that's been plaguing all Orioles starters. You know that phrase, all's well that ends well, by Shakespeare? I got a little twist on that coming up after the break. But first, I want to give a shout out to Supply House. Get the supplies you need from the site made for the skilled trades. That's Supply House. Whether you're in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work, Supply House is the reliable way to order products online. Website's easy to use and packed with helpful resources and info, latest product info, and you'll get the job done right. Plus, with a complete inventory of over 200,000 parts from 400 plus top brands, you'll find exactly what you need delivered fast from coast to coast. If you need help with an order, Supply House offers expert support and industry-leading service, so you'll always talk to a real person. And for trade pros looking for an extra edge, their free Trade Master program offers exclusive perks like a dedicated phone line, free shipping, and discounts on every order. Thousands of skilled professionals are already taking advantage. And now I challenge you, it is your turn to take advantage of Supply House. Join the Trade Master program today at supplyhouse.com/TM and start ordering plumbing, HVAC, and electrical supplies with just a few clicks. Plus, use promo code SH5 for 5% off your first order. That's supplyhouse.com, promo code SH5. Also, this show is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. It's a snack that's both delicious and nutritious, and it's a good source of protein. Crack on in for Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of the recommended daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help you feel fuller for longer. Obviously, the no shells is where it's at. I'm supposed to be shells agnostic. Well, I'm not going to be. We thank Wonderful Pistachios for sponsoring this show. The fact that Wonderful Pistachios is a complete protein, providing all 9 essential amino acids. Did you know how many amino acids were essential? I didn't until just now. So let's get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Thank you again to Wonderful Pistachios for sponsoring this show. You love to see the comment section double when Wonderful Pistachios is airing. And I think there's a little bit of a delay between when I'm talking and when this goes out, but it's got to be like 30 seconds. Anyway, talking about this 4-3 loss to the Washington Nationals, my name is Luke Slaybaugh here for the Baltimore Orioles Postcast. It is my neighbor's favorite podcast, whether they like it or not. I believe it was Shakespeare that said all's well that ends well. Or maybe if you were reading Shakespeare in high school, it was all's well that finally ends, unless you had help from the internet. And these days, I don't know if kids even read Shakespeare because you got AI now. You just break down that vernacular into the modern slang. You're welcome, Generation Alpha. But I want to put a twist on that and say that all's well that begins well. And that is the crux of the disconnect between Orioles starting pitching and results. The box score would indicate to you that Tomoyuki Sugano, newly signed right-hander by the Baltimore Orioles, was in control in this outing. I assure you, he was not. Stumbled out of the gate again in the bottom of the first. And it wasn't for being reliant on one pitch in particular. He showed his full repertoire within the first couple of batters. I just think that the Nationals had him figured out the gate. Either no command or missing something from his pitches, as evidenced by 2 second deck home runs, the first to the leadoff hitter, James Wood. High fastball with some serious bat speed and serious pop, went 116 off the bat into the second deck. Gave up a single to Keibert Ruiz. That's cool. And then a hanging curve to Josh Bell. We know that Josh likes to feast on Orioles pitching every now and again when he was with Cleveland, San Diego. And here he is on his, I don't know, 7th, 8th team. Hanging curveball, and before there were even 3 outs in the game, Tomoyuki Sugano had the Orioles behind the 8 ball. Wasn't as bad as whatever Charlie Morton's got cooking or whatever Cody Petit was doing, or even Dean Kramer for that matter, but still came out a bit flat. And I wonder what that comes down to, if it's pitching coaching, if it's the advanced scouting, if it's still nerves. I don't know if we want to talk about nerves in a 35-year-old right-hander. But the good news is that after that, he recovered very well and kept a lot on the ground. Retired 19 of the last 21 batters he faced and just 1 strikeout. So there is a cause of optimism for Tomo. Again, going 7 innings and back-to-back outings. As Jack Nicholson said once, maybe this is as good as it gets. Or what if it's as good as it gets? With Helen Hunt? Was that the movie he was in with? Anyone also notice the great announcer jinx of Brian Roberts in that inning? When James Wood was at the plate, he was like, yeah, be sure to look for Tomo to challenge him in on the fastball. That's probably where you'll get him. And then second deck, Jack. And then, well, solo homers won't kill you. So, in isolation, those are fine. And then Josh Bell with a runner on. I digress. We've seen the announcer jinx work really well in favor of the Orioles whenever Jim Palmer's been calling home runs or strikeouts in favor of the Orioles. Let's take a look at the comment section, going 62 deep right now live on YouTube as we talk our way through this group therapy session, a 4-3 loss at the hands of the Washington Nationals. Cowboys Nation 34 says, O'Neill really pulling his weight so far, huh? It seemed like an auspicious start. That Toronto series was hitting the ball the other way, but we are starting to see one of the great valleys of Tyler O'Neill's career. And it was very hit and miss in St. Louis as well. Milo Copeland asks, is Sugano a true stopper maybe? I would like you to elaborate on that comment and perhaps do it on the replay in the comment section so I know what you're talking about. Bottom line is the rotation needs help. I don't know if that is the bullpen arm that you want right now as well, because his stuff doesn't particularly play up either. Andrew Call, I assume no relation to Alex Call of the Washington Nationals, comments, CV Buckner is awful. Still should have won, though. Agreed, but I don't think I agree with the outrage that Kevin Brown and Brian Roberts had on that check swing call on Gunnar. There is no legal definition for a swing, right? It's an attempt to strike the ball. And if your hands and your wrists are moving in that direction and your barrel has shifted so much so that your momentum is headed towards the plate, obviously that is not a common call, and that's not a consensus opinion I'm just saying, as someone who has seen that call happen way too many times in a silo, like in this one instance, I don't blame CB for making that check swing call on Gunnar Henderson in particular. And in the grand scheme of the game, I don't think it would have, I don't think it changed the game for the worse. David Owen gives the correct take here. He says 12 men left on base. Don't blame anyone but the hitters. I agree. I would still like to see a lockdown first inning from someone, anyone. Maybe Brandon Young is the solution. I really don't know what Brandon Hyde's going to do with this rotation after this series. Jason Dittrich says the Orioles cannot defeat the worst bullpen in MLB. Then who can they defeat? Only themselves. A house divided upon itself collapses and bears no fruit. Jeff Molnar says Elias got you. I don't think this was directed at me. Elias got you tons of talent. The O's had nothing before him. How soon you forget. There's some infighting going on in the comment section here live on YouTube. I'm not here for it. Let's all bond together. Yes, Peyton gives the right down the middle for ball two. That call probably set Gregory Soto back, but he will take the L in this otherwise wasted comeback. What is going on tomorrow? It is the series finale on NASN in the evening. Left-hander Cade Povich, he of the 6+ ERA, going up against left-hander Mackenzie Gore. Can already see the box score on this one, but Gore 2-2 with a 3.41 ERA. The Orioles got some work to do on the scouting and the film study, because whatever happened with Mitchell Parker last night, boy, oh boy, we're going to be staying up for that. All right, now, I appreciate y'all for listening here live on the Locked On Podcast Network, tuning in live on YouTube. Again, we love our replay viewers and listeners as well. Be sure to leave a comment. Let me know how you're doing and how you're hanging in there. Another loss drops the Orioles to 9-14 on the season, 5 under 500. This one, hate to see it get away. But I'll be here with you tomorrow night. Appreciate you here for tuning in. And again, if you like this show, please make sure to leave a thumbs up. If you support the show, you are supporting the grander Locked On Orioles podcast. It's depressing. We're going to get through this. My name is Luke. I'm your friend. I want to say thank you for tuning in. Final score, Washington Nationals 4, Baltimore Orioles 3. Thanks for watching and listening. Have yourself a good night.